last night. Probably
what's that?
stuff. If anyone has 0.5.3 installed and upgrades to Astro, it will explode in their face.
What does it do?
All of map will instantaneously stop working.
All, I'm sorry, all of what?
Map?
Map.
Oh, well, that's good. We don't need that.
There is a fix open there.
Yeah,
Also, I sent you a PR out.
What caused it to break?
I forgot to backport the fix. It's basically the problem.
The compatibility fix, you're saying?
The changes to ND data.
Right, yeah.
Break it.
So this is the same compatibility layer?
Yeah.
This is 1298?
Yes. This also includes fixes that Dan sent and other fixes to make all the tests pass.
Are you going to update 0.5 to also run what does Travis test on 0.5?
What do you mean?
Oh, there. Wait. Well, which version of AstroPy will Travis test for 0.5? Will it test 1?
1.0.
Okay.
Yeah. It will test the latest one.
Okay.
Woo, laptop. Hello. That's better.
Okay. Steve just +1 did it. Get this out there.
I also sent you a pull request, Albert, in an attempt to fix the rotate stuff, because I thought that if I'm going to have to do a 0.5 release rapidly,
it'd be nice to have that in there. Yeah, I actually was working on it at the same time that I saw your pull request. So.
I did wonder whether you might be. I thought while I was doing it, I bet you Albert is doing this like right now, and I'm just going to step on his time.
It's the half an hour to the hour before Sunday do the most work. So yeah, I'll get that. I'll try to get that in morning my time and Pacific time. So the next hour or two.
And then I will bake 0.5.4 as soon as, basically. Shouldn't be that hard.
Yep.
We also need to merge 1299 to merge 1299 to make master pass under 1.0. And I also did a quick fix actually directly in master earlier to fix something else.
Direct fix? Is that allowed?
It was due to AstroPy cocking up their version numbering a little bit. Or at least in my opinion, cocking up their version numbering a little bit. Because the AstroPy version in 1.0 is 1.0 rather than 1.0.0, which meant my version checking routine for ND data broke.
Just trying to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. I opened a lot of AstroPy bugs this morning. It seems every time I find some time to work on the coordinates PR, I instantaneously find AstroPy bugs everywhere.
Good to know that they release stable. They release software as stable as ours.
As Tom pointed out on chat to me earlier, he was like, "I think you are trying to break our public API on coordinates by doing that. Like you are pushing it harder than anyone else has."
Wait, so sorry, I'm looking at your bump 1299.
Yes.
So that's we're using SunPy's unit decorator, so that's why.
Yeah. So actually, without this, there's a problem where AutoMod API was not finding the documentation for our quantity input, and therefore Sphinx was failing under 1.0. And seeing how we were going to bump 1.0, any bump to 1.0 required anyway, this was the easiest fix rather than me trying to go piling through the Sphinx, fighting with Sphinx to fix it. I thought, I'll just get rid of it altogether and then it'll go away. This means Jack has to update his pull requests, but he won't.
Right. That's all. Just search and replace kind of thing. Okay.
The only place actually in master that was using it is Dan's. But I mean, it's a very easy fix. You just have to delete the import statement and find and replace quantity input with u.quantity input. A challenge.
Sure.
Could you just explain that to me again, seeing as it sounds like I'm the only one, causing trouble on that issue?
No, it's Jack that's going to have to actually change his code. I've changed the Go stuff because it's already in there. So we backported the quantity input decorator from AfterPy 1.0 because they hadn't released it yet. And I'm now deleting the backport because AfterPy 1.0 is out. So you just have to fiddle around your imports.
Is it passing yet? No.
The second Travis build shouldn't matter because it doesn't actually change any code. It just changes the README file and the version string in the docs. I actually wanted to skip it, but it didn't listen to me.
So the goes.py is the only place where we use the unit decorators currently?
In the actual master.
Ah, okay.
Jack wrote a load of code with it, but it's still in a pull request.
Right, all this derotation stuff. But it's not a master, so whatever.
Well, unless we want to merge 1288 first, and then I'll do that fix on that as well. Because, in my opinion, 1288 is ready to go. It seems silly to make Jack fix it when I can fix it. Seems unfair on Jack. Hey Jack, I broke your code. Thanks.
It's in the service of SunPy 1.0, sort of.
Has anyone had a chance to look at 1288?
No, I'm looking at it now, but it's... Yeah.
The diff is relatively complex because he's fiddled lots of little things, but actually doesn't actually change very much. I think.
Ah, there's Jack.
Jack, I broke your code.
Why?
No, not yet. We haven't merged it yet. So I'm only threatening to break your code at the moment, rather than actually having done it. I've removed the quantity input decorator backport.
Oh, okay. Because it's an SunPy one?
Yeah.
Right. So thanks, Stuart.
I was just trying to persuade everyone that we should merge your co-alignment functionality refactor pull request before we merge my one, and then I'll do the find and replace to get rid of it.
Yeah, please. I'm fed up looking at that.
It looks like there's some funny indentation on testcoalignment.py. What the hell's going on? Are there tabs in there or something?
Tabs.
On the GitHub rendering, it's got no indentation for a bunch of the lines.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to do that. I think it's defining global scope variables.
That good? Whoa. Yeah, you're right. This is all actions. Okay. Oh no. What are we doing?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Supposed to use fixtures.
What's that? What are you talking about?
You define you have one up here. Would you comment it out? Oh no, what happened here?
He has one test fixture.
Yeah.
Well, you added that one, but yeah, test map.
Yeah. Wait. So I'm not sure I understand. I'm interpreting how GitHub is rendering this, but
no, GitHub is rendering correctly.
Just click. Don't look at the diff. Click view and look at the whole file. It makes it way easier to understand what's going on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Why, Jack? Line 23 and 33. What are you thinking? You don't need to do that.
Wait, hang on. I'm not.
No, but I missed that. What is that?
Okay, we're not accepting Jack's PR.
No, so Jack, what you have to do is once you define the fixture, you can just pass it into the functions that need it. So as an argument. So you don't need to define a global. So just pass in AA171 underscore test underscore map as if it was a variable into whatever tests need it. And then you're done. Does that make sense?
Is there an example I can look at?
Yeah, if you look
on
in
a piece of test code.
yes. Most of my tests use it. Let's see. A lot of the map tests, I had to fix that. Map. Okay.
Hey, look at this. Jack, don't look at this. Steve,
Here.
do look at this.
So where am I looking?
In the chat.
What?
Scope module? What the?
What? Who wrote that?
Blame.
British, I think.
It says you on the blame, but yeah.
It does say you on the blame.
Yeah, it's probably my fault.
You touched the last, Stuart. Oh, you're changing the keyword on params, okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Why? I'm not sure why you would do that.
It's pretty crazy.
So does that make?
Anyway,
I've never used that. How does that even work?
I don't know.
So if people look at my example, not the crazy one, then it makes sense. should make sense as to how you do that. You just define a fixture, and it kind of gives you a variable that you then pass in to the functions to the tests that need it. Okay, does that make sense? Jack?
Yeah, I think so. I'll have a look at it.
Also, while you're at it, find and replace quantity input with u.quantity input.
Which one?
Well, only do that after you've, or if you're.
No, you could do that already. It doesn't matter, because as long as you've got AstroPy 1 installed, that will work.
All right.
In the meantime, we should merge 1299.
Are we waiting for Travis? Might as well wait for Travis.
All right, fine.
Play by the rules. It's almost done.
No, it's not running. Run more. Stupid. Wait to get my own one of them running. Anyway.
So, should I, what's going on with my peak 1133?
1133.
Oh, that's all the way down here.
Files changed, 118. That doesn't seem right.
So many levels of can't merge this pull request.
Yeah, I'm sure I have. It's an old one, so I have to spend a bunch of time. But before I do that, I want to make sure that.
No, this is different, right? The peak bug is not even relevant. Didn't we fix that? Maybe not. But it should have been dealt with separately, right? This is where you do the plot types.
Yes.
That's the purpose of this PR primarily.
Yeah, that's right. It also standardizes plotting in a lot of different ways as well, which is quite, because it had gotten quite messy in a bunch of different places, and so I cleaned it up. But so this is still, people are still interested in this. I should fix it and put it back in, or since it's been so long, I don't want to spend more time on this if people think that there's a better way to do this.
So what does this actually do? Remind me again.
Well,
Leave your own comment, Stuart. Oh yeah, Steve, can you describe it?
Yeah, basically, the first thing I did was trying to fix this peak bug thing, which was, which I don't think it's been fixed anywhere else, but maybe it has. Which was that when we were using peak, we were returning an object, and so for when you were in IPython, it would plot the thing twice, because it would run the plot, and then you would turn the object, and then it would render the object as well, so you get two plots. So that was the first thing, and then I started going through all of the plot and peak commands in all the different objects, and I normalized a lot of that and cleaned it up. And then I tried different plot types are used. So it gives the ability to have different plot types, essentially. So if you want, like, for example, the goes object has no, that's not a good. The solar cycle stuff, the NOAA solar cycle stuff. When you download the data, there's like 6 or 8 different columns, and you may not want to see everything together. So it becomes hard to define what is the peak standard behavior going to be. So this defines a bunch of different plot types, which would show, for example, you could define a plot type that shows the measured sunspot number and then the smooth sunspot number, which are 2 columns as part of that data, and then you can define a different plot type for another type of data that's included in there. Basically, it lets you define plot types, and it defines them all in a dictionary. So, if people wanted to, they could define a new plot type and by adding to the dictionary and such. So it's not like the prettiest thing, but it fixes things.
So where do you... What the hell? Why is it adding... Oh my god, this pull request is a mess.
Yeah, it's a total mess right now.
Okay, so for AstroPy 1.0, they merged some of the image utils stuff into AstroPy core. Link in chat, also link in pull request. Specifically, they merged an image normalized class, which is derived from matplotlib colors.normalized, which allows, and a bunch of funky normalizers inside AstroPy.visualization, which for your image renormalization part component of this pull request looks like it would be exceedingly helpful, and we should probably use it.
My connection. Something about image normalizers.
Yes. Link in chat. There's in AstroPy 1.0 there is they merged in image utils, which was an affiliated package, which contained various image normalizer helpers. I put it in a comment at the end of the
histogram equalization stretch. Awesome.
Exactly.
Yay. What does it work on? Hopefully a color table?
Yes, so the stretches are arguments to the image normalized class, which is further down on the API page, the end of the API page.
Ah, okay, great, cool. Yes, quite nice. Okay, well, I can try to add that in. I pasted in, if you want to see, this is a good example of what is happening for this particular thing. So if you go line 63 down to line 79, you see this plot, and you can define the type, and there's a default type for the plot. But you can see the other plot types, and basically you can plot things differently, as define a bunch of different plots. And then peak, what does peak do? I think peak just does. So I moved peak out of. Peak is now completely gone out of the classes, and it's only held up at the parent. And I forget what it does currently. What a default.
It plots all the plot types.
There we go. Yeah, plots all the plot types. Yeah, because there's no reason to have. I mean, some places peak was being defined and didn't need to be, and yeah, here you just define the plot. You don't need to define the peak as well, and it makes plot and peak fairly consistent. And we can argue as to whether we want peak to plot all the plot types or.
Where are you defining the plot types? I'm so confused.
That's a good question.
In light curve core, you've got a bunch of stuff talking about self.get plot types, but there's none of that in the source.
Get plot types. 103, line 103 in the file.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, it needs to be called up at 63.
Why is that a class method?
I don't know. Why not?
Because that could just be a property.
Yes, that's right. I was just following the example we had for the other thing, the get default URL.
Yeah, that's a class method because of Florian's witchcraft rather than.
Well, that's always a good reason.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Okay, well, it could be a property, I guess.
Yeah, if you just call that function plot types and make it a property, then the user can't change plot types, which you don't want because you define no setter for it. So it becomes a read-only attribute of the class.
Okay.
And then is there not a no? Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, back to Steve's original question is, I think it's a good thing to clean this up. And so
yes, I agree. It is a good thing to clean this up. I am less convinced of its urgency. Bearing in mind the amount of other stuff we have to do.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Certainly the plot type stuff doesn't need to be there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go through this and rip out the stuff, the cleaning up stuff that probably should happen.
I mean, if you're going to do it, fine. But I just wonder whether it might be more worth your while to help me out with the coordinates pull request next month rather than do this. Cough, cough.
Well, there, Stuart.
I know that's nowhere near as much fun. But I mean, yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I have started poking around at your coordinates pull request, and I ran into her like right away.
Yeah, I'm in the process. Well, actually, in theory, when you merge 12.9.9, it should work. All the tests should pass now for the coordinates pull request. After last night, I think I fixed most of the immediate issues because I was working on it yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Well, so it'll work now.
I think. Well, I think so. I am basically what I'm doing at the moment is going through and rewriting/writing tests for stuff that either wasn't covered or was covered in a bit of an obscure way, partly to improve the test coverage and also partly to remind myself how it all works because I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yeah.
So I wrote a load more tests for it yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've started poking around at this because I wanted to grab the axes for iris files. And yeah, so did not work. Also, I guess here's another question for you, which I didn't quite understand looking at the WCS axes stuff, is why do you have to tell it how many axes are in the file? Why can't I just figure it out on its own? Like when you define a WCS object, it should just know, right? It should just be able to look through the file and be like, oh, there's 3 axes in here.
Where are you talking about? How are you defining this WCS object?
When you
Are you passing in a fits header object, or how are you instantiating it?
yes, a fits header object. Of course, that didn't work because it freaks out when it sees
Are you passing
stuff.
Are you passing in an actual fits header object, or are you passing in something that's gone through side.io?
No, I was just using fits.
It should, at least for the most part, work, as long as Iris have done their job properly. Cough, cough.
Okay, well, I'll poke around a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested this. I haven't tested the latest version of this with WCS axes yet. But it should work.
Okay.
Basically, what I've been concentrating on the last couple of times I've snatched some time to work on it is doing frame instantiation, making sure that our frames are set up properly, and changing the helioprojective frame from always 3D to 2D unless explicitly requested otherwise.
Okay.
I have not yet got onto the transformation code, so if you try and do overlays in WCS axes, might not work if you're trying to do overlays, because I haven't gone through and done anything with the transformation code yet, so I don't know whether that will be working at all.
Okay.
But WCS axes should work for the native WCS frame without touching SunPy coordinates.
But that's... Well, the error I got was that it didn't understand HPLN, the type. Like HPLN 10, I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay. Maybe. Okay, I haven't tried in a while. The solution to that is in one of these files here somewhere. Presumably down the bottom. It isn't the test. It's in... WCS utils. Yeah, SunPy coordinates WCS utils.py. Link in chat. Which is again reliant on 1.0.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that before. Okay.
If you import that file, and I can delete that try except statement there now, because that was a do not explode if you're AstroPy 0.4. That was that WCS axis. I'm assuming it's been updated, but as long as WCS axis checks properly, it checks that AstroPy WCS.utils.WCS frame mappings list to map C types to AstroPy coordinate objects.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll try that.
Let us know if you are trying to do something with it and it breaks and you want. I'll probably be in IRC. You can come talk to us about. Because if you are actually using it for something, that would be quite a good test of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'll bench the. Well, I'll poke around a little bit in the fix stuff and the plotting fix stuff. Just to make sure, because I would like the plotting to be a bit more, I don't know, clean in 0.6.
It could definitely do with being done, and if you've got the time to do it, then yeah, sure. It's just we need to get all the other stuff done.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
1299 is passing now. I'm going to merge it. I'm going to break Jack's code.
Merging? Okay.
By the way, Steve, with the coordinates branch, I keep rebasing it. So make sure that you check that out properly. Cool. What else we got?
Okay, I think we talked about PR. It's enough for today. Let's, Jack, if it wasn't discussed in the last meeting, I wanted to bring up the sprint on March 6th, right, Jack? Well, I'm sure Jack agrees to that.
Yes, March 6th. All day. It's a Friday. If you want anything scheduled, like other than what's already on the schedule, then send an email to me, and I'll put it on the doodle poll. Unless there's some better place to put this information of what 0.6 sprint version 2 should be working on.
I think getting the unified downloader is definitely pretty near the top. I think I spoke to Rishabh briefly on IRC the other day. He said that he should be able to make a hunk of it.
So my concern is, how does this actually work if we're all working on Unified Downloader? Or should only a couple of people work on Unified Downloader and everyone else takes on 2 and 3 at the moment, let's say?
I don't know, I think we need to find, it's a valid concern, I think we need to find
can we split the tasks up?
Yeah, if there's enough
Tasks.
If there's enough distinct parts for people to work on, then it'll be alright. Where was the unified download VR? For the most part, with Unified Downloader, it's really just a case of running it in and making sure everything's working as expected. So lots of people can download it and test it. Also needs rebasing. If we're all going to be working on it, it might be easier if I pull that into a feature branch. I mean, there's a hunk that needs doing on unified response, like Andy pointed out last time. I need to set up the GSOC client so that it works with it properly. Well, someone else, but I'm happy enough to do it. There's testing that needs to be done, especially in the case where you have 2 clients returning valid for the same query, like Eve, because we have an Eve client and VSO will also serve Eve data. So we need to make sure that that's working. And other than that, it's just looking over it and making sure we haven't missed anything, basically.
Okay.
Shall I move that into a feature branch if we're going to work on it?
How does that work?
I'd make a new branch on the main SunPy repo.
Oh yeah, it definitely should be there. Yeah.
Okay, anything we'll talk about? At least the last time I looked at the doodle poll, I was the only person that could not participate because of the Almy, Ohio at the time.
Ooh.
But you guys have fun. And then the last thing was whether I admit I really wasn't following it very well. Whether there's anything to bring up regarding GSOC or SOCIS.
Is that done?
Right. Yes. So the application is in. We are applying under a organization called Open Astronomy that sprang into existence in about 3 days. Website is in the chat. It contains us, AstroPy, ChiantiPy, and YT, and anyone else who wants to join.
Yes, this hour.
That's it. The application went in. We have to wait until the 2nd of March to find out whether we got it or not.
So, is everything frozen in terms of the projects on the project?
No, the projects we can change around.
Okay.
It's probably a good idea to leave the website alone till the 2nd of March, but after that we can do whatever we like with it.
Oh, so we should not change it.
We can, but it's probably, obviously Google are currently in the process of reviewing the application, including the ideas page. So we need to be a little mindful of what we do to the ideas page before the results are in. But once the results are in, we can do whatever the hell we like to the ideas page.
Okay. So our application to Google is in, and so we should wait until we hear back.
Yes. Why? What were you going to suggest?
No, I was just wondering. I just wanted to make sure that everybody got in what they wanted.
Did you see the? You probably want to. I mean, we was in a bit of a rush to sort it out, but did you see the Irish one that ended up on there?
I'm sorry.
Can you change it?
Yeah, Nabil has a use case for SST data and CRISPX, which obviously is the same GUI tool that Iris Data uses, or can use. You can feed Iris Data through CRISPX. So, like, the last one on our ideas page is Iris related, which I think covers most of the stuff that you wanted on yours. Steve?
He looks frozen.
time stopped in Goddard again.
Yeah, those time-space anomalies just go drifting through his office.
I'm back. My Google Chrome crashed, amazingly. So yes, CRISPX and whatever. Yes, I agree. That's pretty much what I was thinking of.
Did you see the so well, have a look at the idea that's on the ideas page.
Okay.
I put a link in chat if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it.
No, my chat. Can you post it again? My chat has refreshed. It's too bad there's not a chat history. What? That's kind of garbage. Ah, thank you. Whoa, this looks a lot nicer than before. Okay. Can't do that.
It's like the last one because they're sorted by difficulty, and I really wanted to put like fucking hard as the difficulty on this one, but I decided against it because I thought people might not appreciate it.
Okay, well, yeah, I should have replied to your email. Basically, what I'm thinking is that this project would not tackle these larger issues that you are bringing up. I agree that we will have to tackle them eventually, and that Iris will make it necessary for us to tackle them. But what I was thinking was that the first thing we do is just we create like an Iris object that we can do with as we please, and it will output maps and spectra and whatever that we want. So you can ask, oh, I want a spectra, at this time or at this place, and it'll give you that object out. And then
okay, that needs to be done through. That's data retrieval.
No. You would get the data, and then you would load it in, and this Iris object would be created. Because I really feel like the 4D cube thing is gonna take us a little bit of time to understand how we want to use that, and I thought having an intermediate Iris thing would help us get there.
The thing with the 4D cube thing is that for the most part it's already there, in theory.
Yeah.
I know theory is a treacherous beast, but but basically I don't like the idea of building something. I don't like the idea of building something for a specific use case. I like the idea of actually doing the job properly, because if we start just scratching itches, we're going to wind up like Sobersoft, because we're going to have an Iris object that no one wants to backport to use cubes in 6 months' time when cubes is finished.
Well, I agree with you, but then we've made mistakes, for example, in map to begin with, which then took us a bunch of time to fix, right?
Oh, and that yeah, sure, that is unavoidable at the end of the day. But
and the other thing that's a little bit weird with Iris is that you basically 100% of the time want to work with the slit jaw imager and the raster data together at the same time. And so, in our current model, that doesn't work. You'd be messing around with this like 4D cube of the raster data, and then you'd have like a set of maps somewhere else. but there is a link between the two of those that's important. So in any case,
Hang on. Wait a second. The slit jaw imager data is the raster data, isn't it? I'm confused. I haven't looked at Iris in a long time.
No, it's not. The slit jaw is context image. So so you have a slit, right? And the slit takes spectra for every position of the slit, right? In a variety of different wavelength bands.
Yeah.
And then around the slit, you have an image.
Yeah.
That is taken by the slit jaw imager. So you have essentially a spectra for the slit, and you have the slit jaw image, and then it moves over one, to a new
Oh,
position.
yeah, I remember.
And it goes again. So I wanted to make this a little bit more accessible, and essentially create like a toy object that we can kind of play with and, get somewhere. That's what I was thinking. But
to some extent, you could do these two in parallel. But to be fair, I reckon your project would actually be a better ESA one.
Maybe
you could have someone knock up some tools to play with Iris data, and we can see what we learn from it, and then we can think about either maybe wrapping it up as an affiliated package for a while, and then seeing what happens in master over the next 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what I was thinking.
And then if we get a summer of code student doing the Iris one that's mentioned there, that would be specifically for the level 4 Iris data.
Level 4. I'm not familiar with level 4. Maybe level 3?
The 4D cube data. I'm sure it's level 4 data is the 4D cube CRISPX data.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, we can depending on how this goes. What you have up here is fine, and we can see if we get anyone that's interested in working on this for Google Summer Code, and we can decide either to steer them away or to work it out.
No. It is a complex problem, but to be fair, so was the ICE data that we started working on last year. So
yeah,
our ESA Summer of Code student guy last year did a very good job at handling that, albeit it never got finished because it was a way too big a project.
Yeah, that's the danger.
So basically, I think my intent for that project that's there would be the first and primary objective of that project would be to wrap up that cubes module, put a bow on it, and get it merged. And then see how much time you've got left to do with what afterwards.
Cubes? Map cubes?
No, cubes as in 3D and 4D cubes. So the cubes module that's open in the pull request handles both 3D and 4D cubes in any arbitrary combination of at least one spatial axis, time, and wavelength.
Yeah.
And it can hold them in memory in arbitrary order, but always presents them to the user in the same order. And it can be indexed via quantity, and it's really rather cool, but there are quite a lot of... Well, it needs testing out properly, and we need to have an API discussion about it, because it's a relatively large shift away from what we've been handling so far.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was why I did not want to throw that onto a student, because it would require so much internal discussion that, like, they wouldn't be able to work out what we want.
Yes, there are a lot of things, but having a student will at least catalyze the discussion. So I don't know. Maybe again, maybe that is a better ESA project as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Cool.
That logo is terrible. It doesn't have the sun.
Yes, it does.
The blue thing is the sun.
Two. There are two quadrants of it that are the sun, man. Half of it is the damn sun.
It's almost
The bottom left-hand side is a composite image.
You're right. It's hard to recognize at first. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna have to go soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, my stomach is telling me I need to go soon.
Okay.
I'm just opening up. I'm just opening up a feature branch for Unified Downloader, which I rebased and pushed up onto the main repo. So.
Yeah. One question before we go. Albert and I discussed this a little bit, but I wanted to hear from everyone else. Should we have a board meeting?
Well, Dan's not on the board, but...
Right.
Thanks, Albert.
He could still voice his opinion as to whether we should meet.
That's true, yes. Dan, should we have a board meeting that you will not be there at?
Put me on the board, then I'll tell you.
He could be there if he wanted to. Anyway,
so the reason why you haven't gotten any emails from me about setting up the next board meeting is simply because we've been sitting on 0.6 for so long that
we should have a board meeting because the non-focus fiscal sponsorship and the light curve SEP are reasonably urgent. In that the light curve SEP should be merged prior to we get a Summer of Code student who may look at it, and also prior to Unified Downloader being merged, really just to confirm that we're going in the right direction with that. And also the non-focus fiscal sponsorship stuff we should get a shifty on, because in theory if the Open Astronomy application is successful, we've got until the end of Google Summer of Code to sort that one out.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise we've got nowhere to put the cache.
Wait, what cache?
Well, Google will give us cache if we're a mentoring organization.
That's new. What do you mean?
No, Google always give mentoring organizations cache. It's just that the Python Software Foundation always takes the cache.
What?
Because they're the mentoring organization.
How much cache are we talking about
500
here?
US a student.
Oh. Okay. I guess it's better than nothing.
Yes, I mean, you can do stuff with hosting and names and stuff with that kind of money.
Okay. Okay, so we clearly have to have a board meeting. So I'll send something out. The other thing I thought we could discuss is whether we need to try to change our procedures, how we handle code and stuff. But we can talk about that during the meeting.
Well, does that need to be is that a topic for the board?
It's a topic for the board to discuss with the...
let's just send out an email about this to the board list, and we can talk more in detail about the concerns and everything.
Yes, but I just wanted to say, for Stuart, it is a discussion which has to take place with the board, because it's a discussion between the main dev and the board, right? A board member, i.e. me, would like to make some comments.
I mean, Stuart, of course, there's an element of the wider community where we might want to solicit opinions, but as the board, and I guess as the lead developer, we have to figure out how to approach it or what kind of opinions we want to solicit for people. Anyway, I want Steve to write an email about this.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll send something out and get that started to schedule the next board meeting. All right, we good?
Yes. So 0.5 is the branch is clean. It's passing on Travis, which is nice. It's the first time it's been doing that for a while. we need the rotate fixes, and we need the fix for the database file naming. And then I will bake 0.5.4. If we can get those done by the end of the week, I will try and have 0.5.4 by the end of the week.
I should have the rotate thing up within 10 minutes. Just documenting and stuff.
My PR that I sent to you, Albert, I also updated my 1 to 0.5 on the main repo. If you make changes to the master one, can you do mine or open a new one onto 0.5?
I'll just open a new one. I think it'd be cleaner that way. But thanks.
Yeah. Either way, it needs backporting. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, that might be more like 20 minutes. Okay.
All right.
If there's nothing else, thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
See you.